finally, our last video here for today. This is really the most important part of the entire process. And I really want to help you kind of visualize how we do these problems. So the best way to do this, I'm going to give you a second, is on a separate sheet of paper, I want you to write down our game plan. So our game plan is this. I know this is a lot, but I want you to take a second. We can just go ahead and pause the video here in just a second, and we can actually look at what this actually looks like as far as the plan for doing what I'm about to show you. So, somewhere on a separate sheet of paper, what I would do is I would just kind of write these three steps out. This is your game plan. First is to calculate the slope between 2 points. I'll talk more about that in a minute. You can write down the formula for slope that we've talked about previously. Step two is really the hardest step, and it's one of the most important steps. So you're going to solve for b. And when you're solving for b, you're going to use this kind of setup that I've got over here on the right-hand side to do blank equals blank times blank plus b. And you'll see me use that here in just a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug slope in, and that's really what's going to go in the middle blank. You're going to plug in your slope, whatever number that is, and then you're going to plug in x and y. And your x and y come from one of your points. Remember that y goes here, not x. A lot of people put their x there by mistake, and then x goes here. So y equals mx plus b, you can see, but we're doing blank equals blank times blank plus b because you're about to plug some numbers in. Once you've solved for your m, that's your slope, step one, and your b, step two, you then rewrite the equation y as y equals mx plus b, but obviously plugging in the m and plugging in the b. So press pause, make sure everyone's got your game plan written down, and then we'll do our practice problems. All right, so step one is to make sure you know your slope. Now, in this case, I've actually been really kind, and I've actually already given you the slope. I've actually just told it to you. A little bit of a Christmas present there. So you don't have to calculate it in this case. You already know it. Its slope is 5. Okay? Now, step 2 is so important because it's all about finding what does that b value equal. So what we do is we start out by writing blank equals blank times blank plus b. So important to write this out because we're now going to start plugging in our information. We already know that the slope we were given is 5. That goes right here. That's where the m value goes. Now the question is, what is our x and what is our y? And I want to remind you that we were given a point. We were given a point, and that point is 2 comma 3. Remember that any point, 2 comma 3 in this case, is really an x and a y. Your x is 2 and your y is 3. So here's my one word of caution to you. I see so many people. It's just something about us that natural as human beings that when we see 2 first, we put a 2 here. That's wrong. You got to be careful. This is your y term. This is your y term. So please be very careful. I can guarantee that people are going to make that mistake. So your y term is positive 3 and your x term is positive 2. So now we're going to simplify, just like we would use PEMDAS. Simplify, so 3 equals 10 plus b. There's our 2 times 5 is 10. Now we're going to subtract over that 10. All right, so in order to solve for b, these cancel out. So what is 3 minus 10? That's going to give me negative 7. That's what my b value is. So we now have two things. We have our m was positive 5. That was given to us. And we have our b is negative 7. So last but not least, step 3 of the game plan is to rewrite your equation as y equals mx plus b. But this time we're going to actually plug in our numbers. Y equals, our m is 5, x plus our b, but our b is minus 7. So negative 7 there. So there you go. This is the final answer. That's what we're trying to get to at the very end here. So I want you guys to try this next example on your own. But in the same exact way, solve for m first. This time you're actually going to have to use the slope formula. So solve for m, then find your b value, and then bring it all the way back at the end and write your actual equation, y equals mx plus b. So try that out and then check your work in the next video. Best of luck.